Hello,
Hey.
Romantic Book Club. We're so happy to be with you here today. My name is Diana Munoz Stewart. I'm here with Abby Rhodes, Jenny Martz, and Sharon Ray. We had a little technical difficulty to start with, but everything seems fine now. So, welcome to the live stream book club that will introduce you to new books and let you talk live with their authors and be part of an amazing group of people who love the same things you love, romance books. I write romantic suspense for the strong of heart, which means that lots of steamy action and twists and turns that you hopefully won't see coming. So basically, I write roller coaster romance, lots of twists and turns and unexpected tummy drops. um, I know. So geeky. Okay. My first series is about a secret society of sister vigilantes that travel the globe, helping other women and meeting hot guys along the way and having wonderful romances. So if you like sisterly shenanigans, hot men, and twists and turns you won't see coming, you might want to check out my series, my Black Ops Confidential series, which includes I Am Justice, The Price of Grace. It's not easy to hold this up like this. And The Cost of Honor. I'm currently working on a new series, a Bad Legacy series, due out later this year. And the first book, Broken Promises, is about a woman who is stalked by a serial killer and joins forces with her ex-fiance to turn the tables on this sadistic murderer. So, and now I'd like to turn the tables over to, I forget, Abby.
It's me. Hi, everyone. I'm Abby Rhodes. I write dangerously dark romance. And I tell people think of like Criminal Minds meets a love story with a little bit of paranormal. So, kind of a weird combination.
No, that's
Yeah. And so my first series is called the Fatal Dreams series, and it has 3 books in it: Race the Darkness, Hunt the Dawn, and Never Let Me Fall. And then my second series begins with Saving Mercy. And the book that comes after Saving Mercy is the next one that's going to come out. And I don't have the cover for it yet, but I have a bookmark.
Oh, cool. Hold it up.
Have it closer to the camera. Oh, I love the cover.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So the guy who did my other covers is the one, my other book covers also did this one. So that was really cool. So I've told everyone in my group, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into what Capturing Fate is actually about, because I don't like to talk about what my books are about until they are done and like I'm getting edits back, because I just never know what's going to change. So Capturing Fate starts with Dolan and Daughter from Saving Mercy. And Dolan is an FBI agent who is out of control. And he is so out of control, he is on the verge of being fired from his job. And the his supervisor is so pissed off at him that he gets him in the car and drives him to a therapist's office and says, "You're going to go in there and see a therapist or you're done." And so Dolan goes in, and that's when he meets his therapist, who is the very sexy, wearing high heels, not looking at all like he thought a therapist would look, Daughter. And they know from the moment they meet, there is some chemistry happening that is inappropriate for a counselor's office. Then the rule, though, however, is that counselors are not allowed to have any relationships with their clients for 5 years after they end therapy.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah. So that's all I'm telling you. You're going to have to read the book, and that's all you get for right now about Capturing Fate.
And people love your bookmarks. People are saying hello and that they love your bookmarks.
Yes, I feel like they're good bookmarks.
They are. They're
Yeah,
awesome.
they are beautiful bookmarks.
All right.
So, except Jenny's up next, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I forgot to grab my book, so that's why you saw me jump up, and you might have noticed that I was wearing sweatpants on the bottom.
I didn't notice.
I just got home from work, so I'm still like in work mode from waist up and from. So that's why you saw me jump up. Yeah. So
Okay.
waist down, anyway. So I jumped up to grab a couple of my books. So I'm Jenny Martz. I write small town. I write love, laughter, happily ever after. I write romantic comedy. I have 6 different series going. I have a whole cozy mystery series about a book club who solves a mystery and searches for romance and clues to murder, as one does in a book club often. So we're not planning on having any murder in this book club.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Well, we might read about some murder.
We definitely will read about some murders, right?
Yes. We're not planning on finding any dead bodies while we're in this club.
None.
So my newest series is The Cowboys of Credence. And that's the one that I write with Source Books, and how I met all of these great gals. And we all actually have, the 4 of us have all been in person together. We've hung out together, and we just adore each other. So it's really fun that we're coming to you guys and we get to have this great fun time with you guys. We're having fun already. And it's only.
We are. And we're so excited to share all of this with you and our experience.
Anyway, I write this series called Cowboys of Credence, and it is hockey playing cowboys. And I apparently don't have the first one, but Caught Up in the Cowboys is the first one, and then You Had Me at Cowboy, and then It Started with the Cowboy. And my newest book that just came out at Thanksgiving is called Wish Upon a Cowboy. And
yeah, that's adorable.
Book, oh God, don't you just love him so much?
Yeah.
And I'm super proud of this one. It earned a starred review with Booklist, which was so exciting. My first starred review. I don't know quite how to hold it at the same time.
I know it's.
And this one is about a rancher who tries to hire. He's trying to look for some. His dad has gone off, and he's trying to look for some housekeeping help. And so far, everyone that he's hired is more interested in getting into his bed than making his bed. And so this down on her luck widow comes to town. She's been in jail for a couple of months. Like, we're talking down luck. And she comes to Credence to find her son. And she just needs a quick job to try to earn enough money to get him bus tickets to get back. And so this is the perfect job for her to work for Logan. And she just has to not be interested in him, which is hard because, he heats up more than her kitchen. Anyway, I am excited about that. And something fun that I'm going to get to share is I have a new book cover. And I don't have the actual book here, but I do have the cover. So I'm going to do Abby's little trick. And this is a cowboy.
I love it.
Oh, wow. That's
Cool.
So this book comes out in June, and it's the same town, but it's starting a new series, and it's starting a horse rescue.
Oh, wow.
That's great. I'm so happy for you. That's great.
There you go. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it over to my dear friend Sharon.
Okay.
And tell us all about you.
So I'm Sharon Ray. I live in Virginia. I am a librarian. I'm a former wedding gown designer. And then after having twins, there was just a lot of illness for many, many years. And I started working from home. And then I started writing. I loved being a librarian. I was actually a pharmaceutical and chemical librarian. So I'd never worked in a public library, but I've always loved books. I've always loved reading, and I just started writing. I write for Source Books along with Diana, Abby, and Jenny, and I write the Deadly Force series. This is the first book in the series, if you can see it. They're thick. They're well over 500 pages. My books are, think of Dan Brown type complex conspiracy theory mysteries with just a lot of really hot romance and sex in it. And this one is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet with all the complexities of a Dan Brown book with lots of hot sex and that stuff. But because it was reaching more than a female audience, the next book that came out, this one just came out in September, is One Dark Wish. This is the second book in the series, but they changed the style of cover and made it more appealing for men to buy as well as women. And then the third book in the series comes out actually next month. I'm very excited.
Yay!
This one's even
that's
longer.
a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
Cover. Yes. So and that book comes out in February, and then the novella. Excuse me, Diana?
It's an In Search of Truth, was it?
In Search of Truth, yeah.
In Search of Truth, okay.
And gosh, this one's even longer than the first book. This one's like 154,000 words.
All right, romance writers like it thick.
They do. The general premise of the series is about a group of ex-Green Berets who are trying to redeem their honor. They were set up in Afghanistan and dishonorably discharged, and they're trying to figure out why. And the enemies, they have two enemies that are battling each other as well as battling this group of ex-Green Berets, are digging through history to find, because everything is so complex now. Like everyone has so much technology, but no one's looking to the past to see what happened in the past. Because everyone, bioweapons that are done in the lab. Well, what about the things that killed off half the Crusaders during the Third Justinian Crusade? Things like that. And so they're having to live in our complex world with all the technology, but they have to go backwards, and that's where they always find their heroines in these types of situations. Anyway, I'm very excited about the series. That
sounds great.
The novella comes out, I think, this spring, called Love's Last Kiss. I don't have a cover yet, and I'm working on the fourth book called A Promise at Midnight. And then I also have submissions to my agent. I actually, besides writing dark, complex, scary, romantic, thrillery type books, I also write women's fiction and young adult. So
Nice.
Those are my submissions. But to move along a little bit, we wanted you guys to get to know us, but we also have a little bit of trivia to play with you all. And at the end of the episode, we'd like you to try to guess and see who fits. I'm going to ask 4 questions, and you have to decide which one of us fits each question. So the first question is, who wore braces for 6 years and then a headgear as a freshman in high school, which is like one of the humiliating things ever. Who has over 200 pairs of shoes? Yeah. Who once had to spend the night in a car during a snowstorm on a mountain road waiting to be rescued?
That person must have a terrible sense of direction.
Yes. And who is related to a New York Times best-selling author? So I'm actually, as you all speak.
Wait, say the last one again. What was the last one again?
Who's related to a New York Times best-selling author?
Oh, related to. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, Jenny, it's obviously ruled out that that's you.
No, it must be me. Her question got cut off, and so I didn't want the readers to.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and type
into
these in the comments, and you all can try to guess who's who.
Okay.
And we gave you a freebie. Jenny's the rule out on the last one.
Now, I could be. I could just be faking you out. I'm pretty good.
You're very good. You're very good.
That could be a fake out.
I'm convinced it is you, actually.
That'll be exciting. And if anyone is watching, my door just opened right back there, and my dog just came in. So
okay.
Once in a while, you might see my dogs roam in and say hello.
All right, that's good. Well, we like your dogs. They're adorable.
Yeah, they're fun.
So these questions are not part of the giveaway. We're going to do the giveaway in a little while, but first I wanted to ask these guys a couple questions. Just so you can find out more about them and what they like or don't like. So one question I was really interested in for each of you ladies, how do you feel about bad boys?
Oh, love them.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love them? Except
teenage dog. There's this whole thing about, and I don't know if our readers know this, but people in the industry call men who are more touchy-feely and less like alpha males, cinnamon bun male characters.
Oh, I've not heard that before.
I haven't heard that either.
I've heard that they're beta male. They're beta.
I've heard beta.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've heard them called cinnamon buns, and versus the bad boy, alpha male. And I like myself a cinnamon bun, I gotta say.
I like cinnamon buns too. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I mean, they're sweet and satisfying. So
And those buns.
Yeah.
exactly.
I just put the questions in the comments. Well, as I'm always telling my daughter, you might want to date the bad boy, but you want to marry, I guess, the cinnamon bun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, true. Like I wouldn't like my husband's not a bad boy. He's a cinnamon bun.
Yeah.
But I like to read a bad boy.
Right.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Right. So you want to read about the things you're not actually going to do.
Right.
So, and here's another question for you authors. What's your favorite meet cute in any romance you've written? Not you've read, but your favorite meet cute that you've written.
Abby is so excited to jump in. Abby's got to tell
so
us.
excited.
Okay,
In Saving Mercy, when they meet, he kidnaps her.
Oh, wow.
He's kidnapping her when they meet.
Okay.
Yeah, he is
Well,
not a cinnamon bun.
My favorite one is I have a book called Hooked on Love, and it's about a fly fisherman and a city girl. And it's one of my most favorite stories. I love this book so much. And it starts with this city girl reporter stopping, she's going to this town to meet this fly fisherman, and she goes into the mercantile, and she's got to get some outdoorsy clothes that she found in the mercantile, which sells, of course, everything. And so she tries on this bathing suit, and then she tries on these waders. And this is like small town, old little shop. This is not REI. She's in this little kind of back room with these open rafters, and a snake falls from the ceiling into her waders.
Oh dear!
Out of the dressing room, essentially into the arms of the hero, yelling at him to get her pants off.
Oh,
because she's got a snake in her pants.
Oh my gosh!
God, that's so terrible.
So there you go. So that's called Hooked on Love.
I'm equal parts amused and horrified at that story.
I know. I think so. My cutes aren't that neat because they're thrillers. So
my cutes aren't that neat.
Oh, God, you aren't that cute. Sorry. I know.
Not even one cute one. What about the novella?
No,
it's not cute.
No, there's always like danger and stuff going on.
Well, like my dude's kidnapping her.
Yeah,
so I mean,
my favorite one is this one. She meets him in a colonial era cemetery.
Okay, there you go.
On top of her. And she's
adorable.
But she
there you go.
distressed about him because she's been thinking about him before that, because in the end of this book, he plants a kiss on her unexpectedly. He just kisses her and then disappears. So she doesn't see him again until he falls on her in this book.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Okay, I have a question. Why is it called Meet Cute and not Cute Meat? I don't. I mean, why? What was the adjective before the noun?
I don't know.
Question.
And I think that's a Hollywood term. I think Hollywood started the meet cute.
Oh, okay. All right.
So Diana, what about you? What's your favorite meet cute?
My favorite actually would be in book 3 of my Black Ops Confidential series, The Cost of Honor, and she saves him from drowning in a kiteboarding accident. So, and it was like so dramatic because she was on the beach and it was raining, and it was the 2-year anniversary of her mother's death. So she swam out there and she seen him go under, and the whole time she's going under, she thinks, I'm not going to make it, and she thinks, no more death today. I'm going to, whatever happens, I'm going to get him. And so she brings him up, saves his life. So.
Oh wow,
nice. Does she get to give him mouth to mouth?
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, we have a question. Have any of us ever based our characters after someone we know or have met?
So many. So many characters.
Never. I've never done that.
Oh, sure, Sharon. I don't believe you.
Oh yeah, I've killed.
Jenny, that's fascinating. You've got to Keep it going. Let's hear.
Well, I mean, so a lot of my heroines have a little bit of me in them.
Yeah.
Especially, so my very first book was Another Saturday Night and I Ain't Got No Body. And it's this mystery with this girl named Sunny. And there is so much of me in this character. It is just ridiculous. A lot of my characters like Cheetos, which is kind of something with me. Oh, my girlfriend the other day said, I noticed a lot of these cowboys, they're always eating gravy. Just like, because I love gravy, apparently. Let's see, which book is it? Oh, I can't remember. In one of these books, one of these gals goes to a RV park and she meets this couple from Kansas, and her grandma always said, you can trust people from Kansas. People from Kansas are good people. And they're Lee and Helen Herring, and that's my grandparents. And they would travel around in their RV, and they feed this gal breakfast and feed her dog. And so I put a lot of my grandmas like in my characters. I'm always throwing out names like, and yes, for sure, Laura, crunchy Cheetos all the way. Absolutely. I see your message there. And I've killed off a lot of characters that might possibly be old bosses or exes.
I think I've done that too.
Yeah. Or I'll put names in, like I'll talk about the guy's farm down the road and it'll be like some friend of mine's name. Or my actual book club is in a lot of my book club mysteries, and they all wanted their names in there. And so one of them has like the Black Widow. Her name is Mona, and my friend Mona is like the sweetest, nicest little petite gal, and she's like the villain in one of the books. And
that is awesome. Yeah, my characters are like composites. Like I'll have different aspects of people that I'll notice that are in my character, but I never base like a whole character on a whole person I knew. Just like little different aspects. And the fact that, my series is about a huge family, of vigilantes, and I have a huge family. We travel together. There's like 32 of us. We just were in New Zealand for the holidays at Christmas. We had a bus, like we literally, our family gets a bus to go. And so some things like that, I do kind of use part of my real life experiences. So
yeah.
My bad guys end up being based on a lot of people. My sister's ex-husband is why characters are named Robert. Bad guys are named Robert or Bob. Because of him. So
nice.
I would say I have more experiences in my books than I have people. I've just been really blessed. I've been able to travel a lot in my life, and live overseas, and had some really interesting adventures doing that. And so I worked as an archivist for a long time. And so as an archivist, I was just buried in historical records. And so between the two of those, I pull a lot of that stuff into my books. But I'm also an introvert, so I don't know a ton of people. So
yeah. She says around the three of us, right?
Right.
Well, since this is such a new experience, introvert, I think we all are a little introverted, and it is difficult to put yourself out.
Jenny's our token extrovert.
Yeah, there you go. But I am kind of interested, since we're doing something different and new, what romance subgenres do each of you read most? Because we're gonna delve into different romance subgenres and introduce ourselves as well as our readers to these things.
I read just about any of them except for inspirational. That's just not my jam. But I probably equally, maybe less paranormal anymore, but for the most part, just about anything. I used to not like contemporary, but daggone, there's some really good contemporaries out there. Yeah. I just read Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, and I swear to God, it's one of the best books I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
I couldn't write while I was reading it because I just wanted to read it rather than write
Yeah,
because it was so good.
I read that.
So for the moment, maybe contemporary, or some romantic suspense, but I don't like to read too much of it because I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to copy that since that's what I write. So I like to be different and fresh. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I
Sharon, how about you?
I read across genres too. I do read a lot of young adult. I have young adults in my life, and I keep twice a year. I do an active young adult book list of just things my little reading army that I'm surrounded with reads. It's not like a bestseller list or anything. It's just what they're liking and what they're enjoying at the moment. And I do love young adult. I read across most genres in romance, but like Abby said, I don't read a lot of suspense or thrillers because I just don't want to pull anything in.
right.
Be affected by it. I do not read political thrillers. I live outside of Washington, D.C. I have no interest. I have no interest in reading any of that. But I do read paranormal. I'm finding it's harder to find paranormal right now unless I go, it's
good paranormal.
Right. I am reading more contemporary than I ever have, I think, because there's so much more of it out there. I do read inspirational. The only thing I really don't read besides political thrillers is hardcore erotica. I don't read any of that. But
I will.
So
put it on the list.
So I actually love psychological thrillers. That's one of my favorite things to read. I love psychological thrillers and I love women's fiction. And so and it's funny because I love romantic suspense. And so those are my favorites. Those are my go-tos. And I put a lot of that stuff into my books, into my regular contemporary romances, because I love having a little suspense in there. I love having relationships with other women. I love the friendships. So many of my books have a cute old lady in them because I love my grandmas. And one thing I'm really excited about this book club is to stretch myself a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think we've worked really hard. The four of us have worked really hard to come up with some ideas and some new authors for you guys to meet and to kind of stretch you a little bit too. And so that you have a chance to, read maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone and discover something really exciting and new. And we've come up with some really wonderful women that are going to come in and talk to you guys. And we're really excited for you to read some of their books. And I'm excited to stretch myself a little bit too and try something new. Diana, how about you? What do you read?
Well, I like romantic comedy, and I do like contemporary for sure. I love Kenny Ryan. I love young adult. Holly Black is one of my favorite authors. So, but I do read suspense too, and maybe I'm not supposed to, but I just like it. So, yeah.
I like it too. And my favorite author is Janet Ivanovich. So I don't care if there's 25 Stephanie Plum books. I freaking love every single one. I just got the newest one for Christmas, and it was so much fun just to sit on the sofa and just she's Sydney and Ranger and Joe again.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Who's Ranger and who's Joe? Like who's for Ranger and who's for Joe?
Oh, like who's
I'm Ranger
and who's Team Joe?
We like Ranger.
I'm Team Ranger.
Yeah.
I'm Ranger. Sorry, I was just trying to read some of the comments that are scrolling.
I like Joe. I mean, Ranger.
I have to say, I'm kind of like I've been both.
Yeah. And here's the truth. I'll tell you guys a tiny secret. I actually bought my husband some Bulgari shower gel just because I wanted to know Stephanie is always getting in Ranger's shower, and she's always got the Bulgari shower gel in there. And so I bought some for my husband. It's in the shower right now, and it does smell really good.
Hey guys, we've got a couple questions, but they're scrolling so quickly, and I can only see 5 at a time. But I saw Sarah's, and she asked, do you all edit as you write or after your first draft? I do both. I edit as I write, and then I rewrite the whole book like 3 times after that.
Yes. Yes.
I edit as I go, and then at the end, I do. It only takes me a couple of days because I edit so much as I go, but I do go back, and oftentimes I'll wait to write the very, very ending to the last few scenes until I've reread the whole book again and catch up all that stuff. So a little bit of both, but I pretty much edit as I go.
I do too.
Yeah, I edit as I go. I'd like to write the first chapter and I like to write the last chapter so I kind of know where I'm going. For whatever reason, I always have the first and last chapter in my head. And yeah, then I'll just, so I have some sort of direction.
Well, that leads us into another question. So just so the readers know, I can only see 5 questions at a time when we're live. So I'm sorry if I've missed some. We can go back in afterwards and answer them. So someone asked, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, about dreaming. How many of our stories started as dreams? I have to say my series started as a dream.
Pieces of mine have.
Yeah, I've discovered like solutions to plots in a dream.
I have too.
Yeah.
Like the Race the Darkness, Hunt the Dawn, and Never Let Me Fall are called the Fatal Dreams series, and every heroine in there has these weird dreams, and they're all different types of dreams. Like Ebony in Hunt the Dawn brings stuff back to reality from her dreams. And I'm always just, and like another one has mutual dreaming where she's dreaming the same dream somebody else is dreaming, you know? And so the reason why I did that is because I have these crazy nightmares all the time. And it's not like I've had like a trauma or anything. Like, it's just, I've been this way my whole life. Even when I was a little kid, I had night terrors and I would wake up where I couldn't move. Like I was just like could not move. I couldn't even open my mouth to scream. And that was in Never Let Me Fall. That happens to, wrong book, to the heroine in Never Let Me Fall. And so that's why I wrote those books about dreams, because it's something like I literally have like these weird dreams. And my husband is waking me up like a couple times a week, because in my dreams, when I scream in my dreams, I'm moaning in real life, like this real eerie.
I do the same thing.
And my husband wakes me up.
I have a nightmare and I'm trying to scream and I can't scream, and my husband will wake me up and he'll be like, "What is happening? You're making this weird."
Yes. So that's why, like, I mean, so dreams have impacted the books because they have dreams in them because of like my experience with dreams. So
yeah, I think dreams are, we're always so interested in our dreams, aren't we? We want to share them. Like I had a marathon. I had an epic dream. I had a dream that should be a novel the other night. And I'm telling my husband all these details and I could see his eyes getting glassy. I'm like, and then we were at the top of this mountain and, you know, I'm going on. And my poor husband was like, yes, fascinating.
Well, I hope you wrote that plot idea down, Diana.
I should have. It was amazing. Whatever it was, I can't remember it now.
I've got a bunch more questions.
Okay.
Okay. So the next one is another. It's from Sarah. How do you know when to let your manuscript go to the editor? I send it on the day it's due.
When it's due.
But before working on deadline and under contract, I have an agents, right? So I would just send it to my agent and she would decide what to do.
Or send it to your friends, send it to people who write, send it, you know, to people who can give you feedback. Yeah, if you're not sure, if you're not at that place yet. Yeah.
Well, and as I write, I have a critique partner. And so every time I write a chapter and then because I edit as I go. So I've edited the chapter, I send her the chapter. So she reads the book chapter by chapter as I'm writing it.
Oh.
So yeah, so she's edited, kind of like already read it. And then when I'm done, because I edit as I go, it's a pretty clean manuscript and I never wait till the deadline. I always send my book to my agent a month before it's due.
Wow.
And I let her read it and I make changes to the changes she suggests. And then I've usually sent it in like 2 weeks early, you know, except I'll Never Let Me Fall. That was the one that like was my hell book to get done. But every other book that was the way, because I'm one of those people, I cannot wait till the last minute because I just get too stressed. Like I cannot write when I'm stressed. And so if I wait till the last minute, nothing will happen. Nothing will come out of my brain onto the keyboard. So I just have to do it when I'm not stressed.
And I write great under pressure. But when
I'm
it comes down
opposite.
to it, where it's like, oh, you got to do this, then all of a sudden I start writing 4,000 word days and 5,000 word days, and and it all pours out.
And so I'm opposite. Like nothing would come out. I could sit here 8 hours and nothing would come out.
No.
I couldn't even type my own name. It's that bad.
Well, I'm 2 weeks over deadline right now, so I can't.
We have another question. Or did I skip you, Diana? I'm sorry. Did I skip you? Or
No, go ahead. I answered.
What has been your all-time favorite book? Tough.
That's a good question.
Like that we wrote or that we've read?
I think that we've read. And so for me, because I'm a librarian, it's by subgenre. Like I have my favorite book in each little.
That's a hard question.
Honestly, if I had to pick my absolute, like if I had to only take one book with me and I was evacuating like the city, I'd bring Wuthering Heights. That'd be my favorite.
Wow.
I've never even read that book.
You know, I don't do favorites that way. My favorite is always what I'm reading now. Like I don't think, I mean, I've had books that I've really enjoyed and books that I've gone back and read again, but my favorite is always, I'm always finding something new. And I'm always enjoying what I'm reading so much that, you know, so I don't have favorites like that.
I just was looking back at my bookshelf to see, like, what's my favorite book over there? I think Harry Potter. I mean, I'm a huge Potterhead. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, those are fun.
You know, I have a hard time, like, recently it would be Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Like, totally blew me away. Like, just love that book so much. But I would have to say, like, I can't pick one book, but like the Black Dagger Brotherhood, the whole flippin' thing, the Shatter Me series, like the whole flippin' thing.
The Legend series.
Yeah, good. Oh, Legend.
I mean, I can't pick one. Like, I can tell you series I like, you know, but the latest has been the Kennedy Ryan book, but Shatter Me and Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Do you guys read the same book again and again? Because like,
I do.
I hardly ever read a book twice because
I do when it's good.
To read that I hardly ever will read a book twice.
I do.
Sometimes I get a book and I start reading it and I think this is very familiar, and then I realize.
Yeah, I'd say that's happened to me too.
No, I'll intentionally, like, I've listened to all the Black Dagger Brotherhood books up until like 3 books ago. I'm a little behind. And then I've gone through and listened to them all again. And the Shatter Me series, I've gone through, I think I've missed the last book, but I've read the whole series twice before. And the same with Karen Marie Monning's series. You know, I mean, they're like, when I love something, man, I'll go through it 2 or 3 times.
I will too.
I have so many books to read. I don't know.
I have a ton. Did you see what I did at the beginning of this year? I went and said, oh, I'm going to read 100 books this year. And now I'm like panicking. I'm listening to audiobooks. And my daughter said to me, well, you can read, you know, Go Dog Go. You can read. So at the end of the year, if I'm really not there.
I'm reading 5 children's books in a day.
Exactly.
We have another question. Do you have friends? This has been partly answered, I think. Read a new novel you've written before sending it to a publisher. I do not. I send stuff to my publisher, and then I have 2 people, including one of my sister-in-law and my good friend and a good friend of mine. My books are really complex. Like there's all these intersecting mysteries, and they cross some of the storylines cross the books themselves, and so I have specific people read while we're editing to make sure I haven't lost anything. Like, you know what I mean? Because I mean, my manuscripts are over 600 pages, so it's just really overwhelming. But that's what I do. But not before. I don't have time.
Yeah.
Well, I would say for me it's different with my hybrid. Like, so my indie published books, I have proofreaders and I have friends read those before I put them out. So the mysteries. And my hockey books, I do have those. But the ones that go to the professional editor, you know, my traditional books, those just go to them, and I figure they do the read through. So and just I saw this, Abby, did you see this comment that says, I've read Saving Mercy like 3 times?
Oh, it's so sweet.
I bet it's Debbie that said that. Is it
No.
Debbie that said
No,
that?
it's Hannah.
Who is it?
Hannah.
Well, hey, Hannah, you're my new favorite person.
Okay.
Another question is, do you have ideas about future books in a series as you're writing a current book? I know I do. I
Yeah.
have.
Oh yeah.
I have actually notebooks filled of things I want to put in the other books as I'm
Yeah,
writing.
yeah. I have a 4-book series, and I'm working on all of them at the same time because I'm always getting ideas. So,
Mhm.
And we
Well,
have
it's-
this thing called hero baiting.
Yes.
And it's our
Yes.
editors will ask us to hero bait the next hero. So
Mhm.
in the book that we're writing, we are literally like fishing, luring out our next hot cowboy for me, but hot hero, and that's called hero baiting. And so we're putting in like
Yeah.
we'll fall in love with the next guy in the book, purposely.
Yeah.
Another question is, has your process changed? Your writing process changed since your first book? I think my process changes with every book because every book's different.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, you learn so much, and I feel like I made so many mistakes, and I took so much longer to write than I had to, and you learn from that experience.
Yes, I would agree with that.
My first 5 books, I had pantsed completely, wrote by the seat of my pants, no
Oh, wow.
plot plan at all. And that's why they took a year to write,
Mhm.
because you know how it is, you write yourself into a corner, you don't know how to get yourself out. So then you got to go back and figure out where it went wrong and redo everything. And this, not Capturing Fate, but the one I'm writing right now called Minds of Madness, is the first one where I have successfully plotted. Because usually if I plot, I don't want to write it because then I know what it's about and I like discovering what the book is about as I'm writing it. It's so I found this plotting technique where you're literally plotting like the 25%, 50%, 75, like 90 and 100. And that gives me enough freedom in between those points where I can make all the crazy stuff happen. You know what I mean? Because that's what I really like doing, is making all the crazy stuff happen. So this, not Capturing Fate, but the one I'm writing after that, has been the fastest book I've written. I'm going to have it written in probably 4 months, and it normally takes me a year.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
great.
so that's the difference the plotting makes.
Yeah.
So
It's Jenny speed.
So I'm on my 25th book. So I sure as heck hope that I've learned and changed my
A little bit, just a little bit.
wow.
And I wrote 4 books in 1 year.
Wow.
Actually, I think I wrote 5 books in 1 year. That was a crazy
Wow.
year. And the books were a little shorter, so that helped. I typically write now 2 to 3, but I used to totally pants, just like Abby, and I was a total pantser. And this term that we have, that you're either a pantser, you fly by the seat of your pants, or you're a plotter, you plot everything out. And I like to call myself a plantser because I kind of do a little bit of both. But now I have a great plotting partner that helps me go through and figure all that out, because I have to plot now because I have to write faster. And I have
So is that like a friend, or is that?
It's another writer who's awesome at plotting. And so I do plot out, but things, I think probably this happens with all of us, that something will surprise us, or that our subconscious will figure something out.
Yeah.
So we might go back and add, 3/4 of the way in, we'll be like, oh, I can use what I wrote, whatever. And our subconscious will have like given us this little gift of, oh, or we could figure out like 3/4 the way in, oh, I'm going to throw this clue back here, or I'm going to throw something back here that makes sense now.
Right.
Yeah.
Diana, there was a question for you. What is the next ops book, or are you going to have one?
Huh?
What is your next ops book?
My next book, well, I do want to go back and to that series, but the next book that I'm putting out is Broken Promises, for a whole new series.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'll think about that.
Abby, there was a question for you. How many books have you written?
Okay, there's a difference between how many I've written and how many are published.
All of us.
So I have 4 published, but I've kind of lost track of how many I've written because listen to this. When I wrote Race the Darkness, okay, I started it as a YA.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. So I got about halfway through it and realized this is not YA stuff happening in this book.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted the experience of completing a novel, so I finished it, then turned around. So one novel, turned around and started the second version, okay, 2 of Race the Darkness. Got done with it and realized it sucked, but didn't know why it sucked. So then I started writing Hunt the Dawn, okay, and I wrote it, the whole thing, and realized it sucked and didn't know why it sucked. So then I went to Margie Lawson's classes and figured out why it sucked and then rewrote it. So that's 3 books there. And then I went back and rewrote Race the Darkness from scratch again. So 4 books.
Wow.
And then, yeah. And then Saving Mercy and Never Let Me Fall each had 1. So that's a total of 6 books.
Wow.
Wow.
So you
Sorry,
went to Margie Lawson's Writers Academy too? Because I went.
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right.
Did you go to her immersion and all that?
I went to her immersion, yeah.
I've never done that.
Colorado. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I did too. I loved it.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Oh, Diana, when is Broken Promises coming out? Someone asked.
It's hopefully coming out in June. I don't have a date yet, but that's what I'm working for. I was working for April, but I'm giving myself a little time to get it right. So,
do you find that by the end of a book, the storyline has taken you in a totally different direction despite your planning?
Sometimes.
Yes, it happens. I plan, but I plant like Jenny, but I plant because I need to have something to write about every day when I wake up. Like I need to have something in my mind. But as I'm writing that, if it changes, it changes. I don't worry about it. Does that make sense? Like if the plot goes off, I just keep going with that. But if I don't have like the next thing I have to write written down, I face a blank page and I freeze and I can't write. So that's why I plant. I do some planning. I do plan out, but then I plot in between. So yes, my endings change all the time.
no, mine are always the same. I write the ending and it's there. And I mean, I might tweak it a little bit, but I know what's going to happen at the end. Yeah. I know I feel like such a weirdo now, but yeah.
Well, and I like for the actual ending, I like to bookend. So I kind of like my books to start similar to to end similar to how they start.
I agree. I like to do that too.
So, but there might be something that, like I said, I'm halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, or sometimes, I said that I will read the whole thing and then actually write that last chapter or 2. And I'll sometimes read through, and in the middle of that, I'll be like, oh, ooh, I'm going to have them do this. So, yeah, I think so.
So do you find the characters take on a life of their own and tell you what they want? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hate that. It irritates me.
Really?
And the next one's yours.
Almost something is wrong. If you try to kind of force your character to do something, you run into almost like a writer's block.
Yeah.
You're taking a direction that the character doesn't want to go, and if you pull back and go in the direction that you're drawn to, rather than what you intellectually think, oh, it needs to go this way, you'll have a much easier time.
Yeah. Because in a way, characters, even though we call them characters, they're like real people to us when we're writing them, and it's like trying to make somebody something they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's true.
So Sarah asked me a question. When in February is my book coming out? Oh, you're so sweet, Sarah. She says her birthday's in February. She wants to put it on her wish list. The book comes out Tuesday, February 25th. So I'm
so excited for that.
So Source Books, the Casablanca line, which is the romance line, they put out, I think it's like 5 to 7 books every month, I think.
Yeah.
And it's always on, well, now it's on the last Tuesday. It used to be a different Tuesday, but now it's on the last Tuesday of the month. Jenny, can you give an example of how a book ending, of starting and ending the same way?
Sure. So in Caught Up in the Cowboy, which is the first of the Cowboys of Credence series, that book starts with Rockford James. He's this professional hockey player. He's gotten hurt, both his pride and his body, and he's heading home to his family ranch. And as he's driving home, he comes upon a woman riding a child's bike wearing a pirate costume who just happens to be his high school sweetheart. So it's a second chance romance, and that's how that book starts, was with them on this dirt road. So then the book, without giving any too much away, the book ends back on that same dirt road with the two of them back on that road again.
Oh, how cute.
Aww.
That would be an example, something like that.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
So we have so your characters guide you in your writing as a secondary question to your characters take on a life of their own. Yes, my characters absolutely guide me, and I will have plotted out an entire book, and then I'll start writing, and they're not really interested.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I find that the men get cranky if you don't attend to them sometimes.
In real life or in your book?
Well, books are a reflection of real life, aren't they?
So you guys, we love all of your questions. We love all of your questions, but we are kind of getting down to the wire. So we want to tell you some more, some fun things that we're doing in the group. We're going to be trying to keep things going all month long. We'll ask different questions. We'll kind of, we're going to have giveaways. I think we've got some giveaways tonight that we need to talk about, which is super exciting. And then before we go, we don't want to make these too long. We're writers, and so we could just talk for 2 hours if you want. But we don't want to keep these too long, and we want to be able to give you the announcement of who we're going to be reading next. So Diana, do you want to talk about how, or I think wasn't somebody going to explain about how the giveaways work for tonight?
Abby.
Oh, Abby?
Yes, I will do that, but I think, don't we need to announce who the author is first before
Okay,
I tell them what the giveaway is?
Okay, we're ready.
You ready?
So
Woohoo!
I didn't know we were doing this. So
That's okay. You're Abby. We're so excited about this because it's a total different genre for a lot of us.
Yes.
It's Kate Ballinger. She writes paranormal romance with a twist, and her book is Wicked Cowboy Wool. I have a little thing about Kate right here. Kate Ballinger is an award-winning and best-selling author of the 7 Range Shifter paranormal romance series, where she weaves captivating tales of dark, sexy heroes who are cowboys by day, wolf shifters by night. Yeah, it's on, kids. It's on.
I'm so excited.
I started it just a few days ago, and I'm just saying, it's good stuff.
And if you want to get into her series, her books are on sale right now. The first,
that's right, they are.
So $1.99 and 99 cents, so you can get in on that. And I just think it's so amazing. I'm so excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So
take your hats off now. I'm not the only hatless person.
I'm worried that I'll have hat, but okay, darling, for you.
Yes, but my husband made my sign, and I'm like, well, thanks, Dan.
Did you hear me, Sharon? You just haven't shifted into your cowboy yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'll be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen a real cowboy hat. So there you go.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, that's something we're going to have to introduce you to when we go to Nashville.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. We're going to tell you guys is the three of us are going to be in Nashville together in March. So we have got so many fun things going, but we're going to have live videos in March all together.
Yeah, we're going to be at Book Lovers Con there, and we've all got different events we're going to be a part of. Check the schedule if you're going and show up at our events. That would be awesome. Also, if you're here and you are going to Book Lovers Con, let us know, because we can all get together. We can schedule something special for us. to get together to meet you and to just show you guys how much we appreciate you. So make sure you let us know if you're actually going to Book Lovers Con.
And
So
if any of you live in the Washington, D.C., like Maryland, Virginia area, there's a romance luncheon on February 16th. I'll drop the link into the comments. I think they have close to 30 romance authors coming, and it's just an intimate restaurant space, and there's lots of giveaways, and everyone gets free books. So like I said, if any of you are in the Virginia, I'm going. If any of you are in the Virginia area or Maryland area, I'd love to see you there. Like I said, I'll put the link in the comments.
okay. All right, we ready for the giveaway?
Yay, giveaways.
Okay,
So explain how the giveaways work.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a giveaway, but I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. You just have to leave comments, and we're going to pick 6 people who leave comments to win our prizes. And I'm going to tell you what our prizes are now. We're giving away 5 paperback copies of Kate Ballinger's Wicked Cowboy Wolf, which is this month's book. So you could win the book and then read it and show up for our next book club and discuss it. And then we're also giving away 1 copy of each of our books, the first in series for us. So one person will win 4 books, and then 5 other people will win Kate Ballinger's Wicked Cowboy Wolf. I got to remember the name of it. So we'll be having 6 winners.
Up in the comments.
And we're gonna leave since this is live stream, but people can go in and watch it. We're gonna leave this open throughout the weekend. So we're not gonna pick the winners until Sunday. So don't feel bad if you're watching it now going, "Oh, poo, I missed it." You didn't miss it. You can leave a comment now. You can leave comments up until Sunday, and we're gonna pick the winners on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
there's a question about the next book club. So.
And when is the next book club? The next book club is when? February 27th
February 27th, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will all be here. It's in Isn't It Romantic Book Club, and Kate will be joining us to talk about her book. So you'll get to ask her questions, and we'll all get to talk about the book. We'll be reading and talking about it all month, and then we'll get to quiz her at the end of the month. So.
And if there's questions that you have that you think of, over the next few weeks, you can let us know the questions so that we'll be prepared and have them ready. You don't have to wait for that night.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Let us know.
Okay. Sounds great.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, it was great hanging out with all of you. Thank you for showing up, and we'll talk soon. Good night.
Good night. Thanks, everybody.